Hey everyone, so I'm hoping that this video is much more shorter than the other videos, which it doesn't really have much of a story to it as the other ones did, because I don't feel like it took that long. So we pretty much left off um, in not really the religious views, but I feel like I was still in the religion of Wicca. And what had happened was that my mom and my stepfather had kind of strayed away from it after a person that we knew had passed away. I don't remember exactly why they kind of strayed away from the path that they were taking. But the thing is that when they did, they were going to church a little bit, and um, it was like an all day thing. Like I didn't get to see them all day long on Sunday. And to be quite honest, yeah, I could have just hung out with my friends. I could have done whatever I needed to do. But to be quite honest, I was more of a family type person. So it kind of left me a little bit of time to just hang out. Like I said, I was able to hang out with my friends, and sometimes I did, but I just missed it was weird. I kind of missed my family because during the weekends, that was our time to just hang out. There was a lot of times where I just kind of like, if my mom wanted to do, I don't know, like, we once did a Star Trek, we joined a Star Trek group, and it was like on Saturdays, and I hung out with them. And normally over the weekdays, I would go to school, I would hang out with my friends, but the weekends were pretty much about my family, so yeah. Sometimes the weekends would be about my friends too. I mean, it just varied, but there were just times where I just missed my family. So, I mean, my stepfather and my mother. So I didn't know. I don't know. It was like, I would say 2 months into it, and my parents had left to go to the church. I was pretty much still like kind of sleepy. So I was in and out, and they were just like, oh, we're just going to go to church. And during this time, um, I believe I was living at my grandfather's apartment building. So they, I was kind of like resting in my room, and my mom opened up the door, and she was like, hey, we're leaving. And I think during that time I was like around 16. Now, the biggest thing was Resident Evil for me. I loved Resident Evil. I played Resident Evil 2 previously. And so what had happened was that during the night, like, they were still kind of over at the church. The church, I lived in Brooklyn. The church was in Staten Island. So they had to take the Staten Island ferry over to go to Staten Island. And I was just like sitting on the couch. And it was kind of a little lonely because my friends were all doing whatever they had to do. And I was just, I don't know, I was just waiting. During this time, I remember it pretty clearly that a lot of my friends, um, they were kind of like a little older than me, so they had jobs, they had to do things, I think one or two had a kid already. So I was pretty much stuck home doing absolutely nothing. Um, so again, like I said, I was playing Resident Evil, and this was the very first time that I was actually playing Resident Evil 1. And I was almost at the end, but I don't know. I remember I think I was in the lab or something, and this was before you had to get, I think either, I don't remember exactly. I think it was Chris that I was supposed to get out, like, of the cell. And before I had to do that, I was like a little bit down. I felt a little sad. I was just like, listen, if there is a God, I want to know what you feel. I want you to know. Well, I want to know how you, if you think this is the right path for me. And I know this is just like, for some people, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's a coincidence," but for me, it kind of wasn't. So, I said, listen, just give me a sign, and that's it. Just give me a sign, please. You don't even have to speak to me. Just give me a sign. So I think like 5 or 10 minutes into playing, um, hold on. I love that YouTuber, but I hate when I get the notifications while I'm doing my own video. If you like funny YouTubers, look up his videos. It's pretty funny. Anyways, so again, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes into it, and I get a quote sign. The way that you're supposed to save Jill or Chris is by Bible verses. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like one was Genesis, but I don't remember the other one. It was 2 Bible verses. So it kind of like it felt like a sign. And again, like I said, if I was in another person's shoes looking into my life, I would probably say it's just a coincidence, but it didn't feel like it. So anyways, after that, I had all of my like family heirlooms slash trinkets. There was a Chinese teacup reader, leaf reader. Then there was the tarot cards. Most of the things that I had gotten from family was easily destroyable. I know people are gonna be like, "Why did you destroy that stuff?" But I destroyed it because it was a part of my family, and I did not want to give it to someone else's family. Whether or not my nieces, nephews, my daughter, my sons, they want that stuff. I'm sorry, but I'm not even, to be honest, I'm not even bringing it up to them, so I destroyed them all, except for one thing. It was a teacup reader. It was the teacup tea leaf reader. And one of my martial arts buddies, who was huge at the time, like he was in his prime, so big, he and I, we went over to throw this porcelain teacup at the wall. It was a brick wall. It was underneath a highway, and he just chucked it. And to be honest, I mean, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it, but I saw it for my own eyes. If you don't believe it, that's fine. So he chucked it like baseball pitcher chucked it, and it bounced off the wall. Seriously, I was creeped out. He was creeped out. We went back upstairs to my apartment. We told my mom, we told my stepfather, and I remember this so clear as day, as if it was yesterday. But we called my soon to be pastor because I had to get rid of all that stuff before I did what I wanted to do. And he prayed over, well, he told us to pray over it. We prayed over it, and he prayed with us. And then my father, being the dummy that he was, because to be honest, you shouldn't even be doing this in the house. But I guess he wasn't thinking, so he dropped it on the carpet, which I had to freaking clean up. And it shattered. It shattered and it was gone. And that creeped me out too. I mean, someone can say, well, with the throw, it probably chipped. But when I looked around it, it didn't look like it was chipped. It didn't look like it was damaged at all. So, I mean, hey, I don't know. So yeah, from then on, I became a Christian. I became a Protestant. And that's where I am today. I mean, I'm not the best, obviously. I mean, I talk about other things, and I still play video games, like, and I mean, to be honest, if anybody would say anything, they'd bring up the fact that I married a Muslim man, which, to be honest, I feel like, you can't help who you fall in love with. And he has not, let me tell you something, he has not once told me, well, he did in the beginning, but then he realized that he shouldn't be doing that. He has not, as of like, for about 7 years. I mean, we've been together for like 10 years. For 7 years, he hasn't said anything to me about it. He respects my religion. I respect his religion. We respect each other's views on religion. And that is pretty much where I am. I mean, I did tell him that I do want to do some things for certain churches, but to be quite honest, like, I haven't really gone to find a church. I tried when I was in Brooklyn after my other church closed down, but like, I felt like it was just a waste of time. I went to it was called, I'm not, you know what, I'm not even gonna bring it up. But I went to like this one church where it was pretty big, and it seemed like it was a cool church. But like, I had my sister in my arms at the time. She was like really little. And she was kind of a little fussy. There was like this one little area for children, but I mean, I wanted to be with my family. And my mom wanted to be with us too. Now, in my old church, my very first church, the pastor would tell us, or the chaplain would tell us that, you know, he didn't want us to quiet the babies. I don't know, like, he didn't want to quiet the children. He wanted them to play. He wanted them to cry it out. He wanted them to be present. So, but when I went to this other church, this woman was like, shut your baby up. Like, I looked at her like, wow, very godly of you. And I get it, the people want to hear the sermon, but after that, like, I just didn't go to that church. There was another church where it felt, I don't know, the first church I went to was a home church. So it felt more personal, and it felt more home-like, and it felt more family orientated. Like, everybody was just like a big, huge family. The chaplain would make breakfast, or he would say, hey, you can have some like cereal. Lunch was on him, dinner was on him, and then you'd come home. Like these other churches, it doesn't feel personal. It doesn't feel, for me it doesn't feel good. So I don't know. I feel like I screwed up in that sense. I decided to go my first church experience in the religion was kind of like homey, and I don't know. Maybe I should have just went to a bigger church. I know that I didn't want to go to that, the church, because I felt like kind of the same way as if it was Roman Catholic. I learned a whole lot more in the home church than I would in the regular church. It felt, like I said, it felt more personal, one-on-one, and if I had any questions, it was really easy to just ask. But in the end, I still feel like this is the religion for me. But I don't. But here's the thing: is that because I wasn't there making the Bible, I don't know who kind of made the Bible. Like, I know that there was a bunch of people making the Bibles or Bible, but I don't know them personally. You could tell me that they were really nice people, but I don't know them personally. So whatever I try to take, I take with my heart. I will read the Bible. I have read the Bible, but like, there are some things in the Bible that for some reason my heart says it's not right. But in my head I'm like, well, if it's in the Bible, then but here's the problem: is that everything online is not always right, but it's online. I don't know. That is pretty much my feelings and my stand. This is a religion for me. I don't think any one religion. Sorry, my daughter ran in, but I was gonna say, I don't believe that there is one particular religion for us. I believe just like everybody is different. I mean, if that makes sense, everybody is different. Everybody learns differently. Everybody has a different heart. And the religious aspect, or the religious feelings, just like your beliefs have to come within. So following a religion, it has to come within. I might not learn from the Catholic point of view, but you probably could. I may not learn from Islam, but you might. I mean, they're both the same God. You know what I'm saying? As long as you focus on God and doing what's right, I feel like everything should fall into place. And after that, just keep an open mind. I might be wrong. You might be wrong. But in the end, you really need to keep an open mind. open mind and open heart. Because later on, something, someone, somehow, it'll change your belief, and there might be a reason. We won't know for sure if there is a God until we die. We won't know if we did the right thing until we die. So, that being said, I hope that we all do what's right and what is fair, and we all go to heaven. I hope I do meet you all one day, maybe in physical form or maybe in heaven. I hope we definitely do meet. And so I believe that one religion will go to hell and the next religion will go to heaven. Absolutely not. And that's my stand, and that is how I feel. So if you want to prove me wrong, put it in the comments section below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to put them in the comments section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you feel like I'm right, let me know. And this is the last video of this little chapter, so I can kind of move on to actually talk more about the show. I kind of wanted to do that because I have some things I want to talk about. So yeah, wanted to make this video to just button this chapter up. But thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.